Kadu, there lived a doctor named Kojo. Dr. Kojo was no ordinary doctor. He was a man whose heart was as big as the baobab tree that stood in the middle of the town. Everyone loved him because he was kind, gentle, and always ready to help. Whenever people fell sick, they would rush to Dr. Kojo's small hospital, a place that felt like a second home to many. Pregnant women came to him with their swollen bellies, and Dr. Kojo would smile and say, "Don't worry, my sister. You and your baby will be fine." And he meant it. Dr. Kojo didn't care much about money. In fact, most of the time, he didn't even charge his patients. If a woman came crying because she couldn't afford to pay, he would shake his head and say, "Life is more important than money." People whispered that he was like a rare gem, shining brightly in their little town. The women in Kadu said that Dr. Kojo had magic hands because no matter how difficult a birth was, he would handle it with ease. "Ah, that man," they would say, "he's a gift from the gods." And so, pregnant women came to him not just from Kadu, but from the nearby villages too. Life in Kadu was peaceful, and everyone believed that as long as Dr. Kojo was there, nothing bad could ever happen. Little did they know, a storm was brewing far beyond the horizon, one that would test the very heart of their beloved doctor. And so, the story of Dr. Kojo begins. One day the skies over Kadu seemed heavier than usual, as if they carried the weight of bad news. Dr. Kojo's heart was restless, though he didn't know why. When he returned home that evening, he found his mother lying weakly on her mat, her breathing shallow like the whisper of a fading breeze. "Mama!" Dr. Kojo rushed to her side, his voice trembling. "What is wrong? Why didn't you tell me you were feeling unwell?" His mother, an old woman with a face as wise as the moon, looked at him and smiled faintly. "Kojo," she said softly, "you worry too much. It's just old age catching up with me." But Dr. Kojo was no fool. He checked her pulse, felt her forehead, and listened to her chest. Something wasn't right. Her heart sounded like a drum missing its rhythm, and her skin was colder than the morning dew. That night, Kojo couldn't sleep. He sat by his mother, watching her breathe, his mind racing. He had treated so many patients, brought so many lives into the world. Yet now, when it was his own mother, he felt helpless. The next morning, he made up his mind. He called the elders of the town to seek their advice. "My mother is very sick," he told them, his voice heavy with worry. "I have done everything I can, but her condition is beyond me. She needs to go to